And you're gonna have to bear with me because I'm using my phone, so I may not be able to see everybody as I'm scrolling through. I'll try to do my best to make sure I get everyone. Okay. All right. So this is the public safety meeting. Today is Wednesday, July 9th. Oh, sorry. Tarita, am I ready to go?
Good morning. Yes, you are.
All right. Thank you. All right, this is West Hartford Public Safety Committee meeting, and this committee meeting will be available for live viewing on the WHCI YouTube channel, and this is a virtual meeting. And again, today is Wednesday, July 9th, 2025, and the time right now is 8:05 a.m. My name is Counselor Carol Anderson Blanks. I am the chairperson for this meeting. And let me recognize everyone around the virtual screen, starting off with our town manager, Rick Ledwith, our chief of police, Vernon Riddick. I see Assistant Chief Tara. I see Assistant Chief Jay Silver. Let's see, we have Counselor Tiffany McGinnis, Fire Chief Greg Priest. Looks like Mayor Sherry Cantor is on, as well as Counselor Alberto Cortez, Sarah and Delilah, Captain Aaron Villafides, ACO Gulina, welcome. Let's see who else. Did I get everybody?
You did, Madam Chair.
All right, wonderful. All right, great. Thank you. So the first item on our agenda is approval of the minutes from Wednesday, June 4, 2025. With the necessary corrections, I looked it over. I didn't see any. I don't know if any of the committee members picked up any. But may I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
And all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
All right, wonderful. Motion for the minutes are accepted. Thank you for that. And the next order of business on our agenda is a discussion for our leash law, which we had discussed this a couple of meetings back. And I'll turn it over to our town manager, Mr. Ledwith, to lead us off.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. We didn't want to let the summer get away without addressing this topic with our Public Safety Committee. So we have our Animal Control Officer, Kim Galino, with us this morning. And ACO Galino is going to share some data and insights regarding leash laws in neighboring Connecticut communities. As you know, this topic has generated interest, and we appreciate the committee's willingness to take a closer look at the potential of a leash law here in West Hartford. And currently, we only require dogs to be leashed in public parks. So I think this morning's information will help us better understand how our policies compare to those of nearby towns. And I want to thank ACO Galino for the work that she put into compiling this research, as well as her contributions to our town, whether it's promoting responsible pet ownership or ensuring public safety and engaging with residents. Her role is vital, and we deeply appreciate it. So through you, Madam Chair, I will turn things over to ACO Galino. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So I've compiled a list of statistics based on area towns that have a leash law. So currently the state of Connecticut does not have an established leash law. We have a roaming charge, but we don't have any leash laws. So it's basically the municipalities that take on putting together an ordinance for their towns. I put together a few towns in the area and their charges for having dogs off leash. Basically, they all started the way we did. town property, town parks, playing fields and soccer fields. And then they found the need that people were just not complying with it. And they decided that it's just best to have leash laws, dogs leash at all times for the safety of everyone. I also put together since 2023, incidences that I've had occur in West Hartford for dogs being off leash and attacking people and other animals. So basically Hartford, Bloomfield, Rocky Hill, Cromwell, all the areas, they all have leash laws when just walking the dogs on the sidewalk and on town property. Each one has an assigned ordinance that gives the ACOs and police officers authority to give them a town ordinance violation. And all the towns don't have a set price. So it's not like with ours right now, it's a $79 fine for the town ordinance if the person is caught with their dog off leash in the parks and on playground apparatus or athletic fields. For instance, Hartford is $50, and that's a town ordinance violation that they would write up and hand the owner. And then some, which I found quite interesting, was it started with per dog, per offense, and then would double. And then it would lead to a misdemeanor. I don't think in West Hartford we would get that far. Usually people are pretty compliant, especially with dog stuff. But since 2023, we've had 64 reported incidences where dogs were roaming off leash and attacked a person or another dog. I'd really like to prevent that from occurring. Once that dog is off the leash, there's no control of the animal. And I say animal because even as behaviorally tested as they are, they're still animals. So if they see something that's going to trigger, they're going to go after it. And I think the best form of action, and statistics show with these other towns, that it's definitely important to have a leash ordinance in our town. Absolutely. I've gone out and talked to people numerous times for walking their dogs. And not only does it ensure safety, it ensures that when the dogs are 50 feet in front of them or 50 feet behind them, and they don't have control over the animal, they also don't know where they're defecating. So that gets the droppings of the animals get left behind, and it causes more complaints by the residents, which I don't blame them. So basically we would have to, if we came up with a town ordinance, we'd have to put a fine associated with it. It would be pretty much the leash ordinance that we have, but it would be the entire town, even walking on the sidewalk. I would like it to include that, because Connecticut doesn't see those e-collars or the electric collars as leashes. They should not and do not replace leashes. I would like the ordinance to include not being able to use e-collars. So basically an e-collar is a collar that goes around the dog's neck with a box, a little device on it, and the owner of the animal or trainer can use a device to shock or beep the dog to bring it into compliance and listen. That's a great tool for training for some people, for some dogs, but it doesn't, it can either make the dog fight or flight and take off, or it can make the dog very aggressive. And there's studies that show that. So I think that should be part of the town ordinance as well. It should be a leash no longer than 6 feet. And it will keep it with a snug fitting collar or harness, so the dog can't pull out of it and run away or attack another animal or person. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Thank you for that, Galino, ACO. Does any committee members have questions for ACO Galino? And just go ahead and shout out, since I can't really see.
No questions from me.
Thank you, Councilor Cortez. Councilor McGinnis?
No, none for me.
Okay, thank you. I don't really have any questions, ACO Galino, but what is interesting was the e-collar for me. When I was reading it, I was like, what exactly is an e-collar? So it's interesting that you said what you said. It just kind of goes around the neck, and then they just kind of zap them. And I have many, what do I want to say, residents and neighbors in my area of town that some have leash and some don't. And as you said, they walk like 20 yards in front or 20 yards behind. And I'm being a little facetious, but you get what I'm saying. And now our neighbors have the little signs up about, take care of your dogs,
I
but
knows, yes.
so thank you. Thank you for that. I think it's a really good idea. And to go forward with. So thank you. I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Town Manager, though.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thanks everyone. Appreciate ACO Galino's work on this and presentation this morning. So what we could do, I'm hearing no objections. We could work with Corporation Counsel to draft an ordinance, and we could we probably wouldn't be in a position to bring it back to the committee until the fall. A little shorthanded in the Corporation Counsel's office at the moment. So would work with them over the remainder of the summer and bring a draft of an ordinance back to the committee in September. And then from there, we would have if everyone continues to be in agreement, we would schedule a public hearing through the town council meeting process.
Okay, great. That sounds great.
I just had a quick question, Madam Chair. I wonder if rather than, first of all, ACO Galino, thank you so much for your work on this and putting it in perspective for us. I think it's really important. But I'm wondering if there's some outreach to either the dog park people or some work that we can do in between so that we're educating people on why this is important for our community. So rather than just, going through public safety and then, making a public notice that this is happening potentially. So I don't know if there's some proactive work that we can do, or maybe an article through, that we're working on this because of these things. I don't know.
I think that's an excellent idea, and change is very difficult for people. So I think that if we kind of give them a notice that this might be taking place or is going to take place, it's better than just dropping it on them. Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. That was a great idea.
Yeah, so we could reach out through you, Madam Chair, to the Dog Park Coalition, who actually David had just emailed me yesterday, as a matter of fact, so on some other issues. So I can reach out to them and through ACO Galino's office as well. There may be other contact points we can make throughout the community to start to have this conversation in more depth.
Good. Sounds good. I think everyone's on board with this one.
Good.
Going
If I
through.
can, Madam Chair.
Absolutely, Chief. Go for it.
Yep, sorry. I was trying to be cool using the technology with the raised hand earlier, but clearly
I
it
didn't
failed.
forget.
It failed miserably. But anyways, the mayor stole, excuse me, the mayor had a great idea that I just stole. Anyways, but I think an education piece is extremely important because we are changing things, potentially changing things. So we will handle all of that. We'll take care of that and make the appropriate notifications. Kim is wonderful with that in dealing with those things. And Aaron Vafiatis in his new role as admin captain is very adept at that too. I also just want to acknowledge the passionate, compassionate, and committed work of ACO Kim Galino. She's been with us about 6 years, and she's been a supervisor now for approximately a year or so, and she's done a fabulous job. This isn't just, I say job. For her, this is not a job. It really isn't. Like she lives this. And that joy, that smile you see is not just for the camera, it's every day. So I want to thank her for her commitment and a job well done. And the work that you did on this. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chief. And thank you again, ACO Galano. Great, great work. The wait was well worth it. Thank you. Okay. Moving right along, if there's no other questions or comments, we can move into communications. Mr. Town Manager, I don't know if you have anything else other than the leash law discussion before we move into staff reports.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to take a real quick moment to extend our appreciation to our police and fire personnel for, of course, I could say this all year long, but for their outstanding efforts throughout the month of June. As we know, we hosted several major events, starting with our Memorial Day Parade, rolling into Celebrate, Juneteenth, and Pride. And we welcomed literally tens of thousands of visitors to West Hartford. And as always, our public safety team went above and beyond to ensure the safety and well-being of everyone in attendance, and they could feel that safety. Being there to ensure our safety. In addition to that, they're true ambassadors for our community, and love seeing them engage with our residents and visitors in a way that reflects the best of who we are as a town. So just wanted to take a real quick moment to thank all of them personally. So thank you for that opportunity, Madam Chair, and I will turn it back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Ledwith. And if I may just take your point of privilege, and I'd like to just add, I was at an event last night, and Blueback Square came up, and these were fairly young people between like 30 and 50, and they talked about how West Hartford Blueback Square was such a great attraction where they would come out and dine and just walk around and visit the shops. But more importantly, the reason why they felt that it was such a draw was public safety. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that, not only as chair, but for both Chief Riddick and Chief Priest. So we know that we work hard to do a number of things in our town. That's why we're number 19 and 1, I believe. But I mean, it does not go without hard work and commitment from our entire crew, led by such great leadership. So I just wanted to drop that on you all this morning, because I felt very proud when they identified Blueback Square, and I was like, wow, why Blueback? And then they went into the detail. So just applause to everybody. All right, shifting to staff reports, and I believe Chief Priest, you are up first with the fire department update. So I will turn it over to you and your crew.
Excellent. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for the kind words for the fire service and the events that have occurred over the month. Definitely a lot of work put in there, especially on the planning front. And you can expect a couple of AARs coming out as well. Really appreciated the police department and many of others who really did the front load planning part to it. There's a ton that goes into that. And now our job is to provide the after action so that we take those lessons learned. It's interesting context too, because we are watching some of the national events that have happened, whether or not it's an active shooter, targeting fire personnel going to brush fires, or watching, floods happen down in flash floods in Texas, and, the things that have happened down there. But that really does give us an opportunity to look at these national events and say, hey, what is West Hartford doing? How well are we prepared for these? So they're tragedies, no doubt. But the successes are returned to us because we can then plan for them. I'm also very happy, kind of moving into that recognition of our own personnel. First of all, thank you to our elected officials here in town for supporting the recent outreach regarding our fireworks. That was a very good media thing. I'm always proud as the chief when people are calling our agency, to come out and do things like that. And then also, a shout out to some of our other folks who have worked on our active shooter hostile events response plan, because when in response to the shootings of fire personnel, they did come into West Hartford and asked us about how we're prepared for that as well. So there was some positive outreach for that. Also, following in kind of this idea of events, very pleased to have been dunked several times at Celebrate for a great cause, to have hands-only CPR for about 200 residents were ultimately trained in that. And we had about $800, I think was the total donation. And we'll be meeting with Senator Slapp, representative for our later today, to make that donation. So thank you for the support of that. That was a good event. Also, a quick shout out to our CERT team. Although I don't see our members as often as I would like to, they are heavily embedded in providing tons of hours of volunteer service in support of our community. I believe the number I saw in our report was 500 hours of our citizens who were out there helping out at these events as well. I do have another, my written report is in there as well. It just kind of shows you every once in a while as the fire chief, you get disconnected when you're reading in there like, hey, they delivered a baby and there was a code save and you're like, wow, man, there's such great stuff happening on a regular basis that even I enjoy preparing for our public safety meetings. I get a chance to hear it. Upcoming for us the rest of the summer, I'm really appreciative of the town manager and his support. Fire administration is going to be taking a little bit more of an active role in the construction of the training tower, and we're moving forward with that. So I see Councilor Cortez isn't on camera, but I can see that big smile on his face. I always appreciate his inquiry about that. Looking forward to that happening. Certainly, we've identified the budgetary amount right now. Our priorities related to the training tower are understanding the site itself, the environmental conditions, the soil, and then ensuring that the budgeted funds are enough to meet the needs. And I can assure you that there will probably be more discussion of that to come as we look at, what has happened to construction costs over the years. I'd like to end my report with this, just I want to go back. I've touched this in a previous public safety committee meeting, but I do want to make sure that I'm providing the opportunity to talk about this nurse navigator program, which has to do with taking non-acute, lower acuity or non-emergency 911 callers and diverting them into a nurse line where they are then assessed for whether or not there's a different level of care or an alternate destination. This is innovative. It is being done in other parts of the country. But I really want to make sure that people have an opportunity, especially our council, to ask questions about this, to understand it. There will be outreach as we get closer to it. It's possible that this will happen in the October range. But I really want to make sure that what we are approaching this from is the perceptive of this is providing the best care that we can to our residents. It's at the same time, it's not using our heavier apparatus and sending fire and police and everybody to, these non-urgent calls. But what we're doing is when we get them over into the nurse line, they have the option to put them into telehealth options. They have the ability to get them to an urgent care facility in town using alternate means of transportation, which is good for patients because it can get them connected to an in-network, meaning their insurance will cover it. But it also avoids any particular costs associated with a paramedic transport, an ambulance transport, or an unnecessary emergency department charge. So I'll leave it there. I just want to make sure that I'm being very, very transparent that that's the direction that we're headed. If anybody wants to have more information about that or take it off onto the side and have a very more specific conversation, I would be glad to do that. The reason why I've kind of chosen to kind of highlight this is because we know that our residents have very high expectations of their emergency services. And we want to make sure that we want to make sure that we're communicating that we believe that this is an advancement in patient care, not that we're taking away town resources, that we're not taking away the fire personnel from coming to your house. We're just saying we don't feel like it's the best use of resources to send a fire truck with 4 people on it for your non-emergency like a toe pain or something like that. I say it kind of tongue in cheek, but you get my point, right? That's not the best use of resources. So with that, I conclude my report and glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief Priest. Any questions for Chief Priest from the committee members or Mayor? Do you have any questions?
No, I just wanted to say, I think this is that the nurse line is an incredibly important step as healthcare costs continue to rise, and we will see pressures from cuts to Medicaid, no question. And I really am grateful that you're looking at ways to more efficiently use the resources, as well as provide the appropriate care, because having somebody in an emergency room for hours isn't necessarily the best use of anyone's resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilor McGinnis or Councilor Cortez, any questions or comments?
No questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Not from me neither.
Okay. Thank you. Chief Priest, just a quick question about the nurse navigator. I'm just going to assume that would be at a level of a registered nurse.
Yes, ma'am. So that is my understanding. I can provide you with like a one pager from American Medical Response, or GMR Global Medical Response is the company that we are contracted with to provide ambulance service. This is their sponsored line. They are waiting for an agreement that does interstate licensure of nurses to make sure that all of the people who would be providing medical advice are appropriately licensed in Connecticut. So I can find out more specifically about the actual qualifications of the nurses, but I do know for a fact this is a national program. They're highly invested. And my last quick point is, you know, sometimes it's good to be first. And in this case, I think we are going to be probably the first in Connecticut to be doing this. And again, showing why we are, you know, the community that we are. I think people are looking to us to see it be successful so that it can be rolled out in other communities.
Yes, I totally agree. And I agree with the mayor in terms of your forward thinking in terms of this, because I know you do some frequent flyers in my neck of the woods. And I think that this program would assist a great deal. So I really am happy to hear that. And I would like to meet with you a little more offline just to learn a little more about it. But thank you for this, because I can see there's going to be much more services that are needed going forward that are not necessarily related with the huge apparatus like you mentioned. So thank you. All right. So if we don't have any more questions or comments for Chief Priest, I will turn it over to Chief Riddick and his crew for the police department update.
Again, good morning, everyone. And I also want to say thank you for the kind comments regarding the police department and the fire department. To steal the words of the immortal Gino Armama, it's easy to receive accolades when you have really, really good athletes. And we have really, really good personnel in the FD and the PD, top-notch quality professionals. So thank you for that. And all the credit goes to them. Quickly, just going to highlight just a couple things. Our primary focus this morning was the leash law. So our community relations division, you should have seen our bicycle officers out in the parks and the pools riding around. Our college academy is closing out with graduation next Friday, July 11th. This year we have 16 college kids participating, and we're getting rave reviews thus far. Our detective division, there was a burglary that occurred at a location in town at the end of May, and we are currently in the process of securing an arrest warrant for a burglary third and a larceny fifth for a suspect that we've identified. Great works to the detectives on that. Our patrol division, in another instance, the second type of call we've had like this in about 2 months. The FD and AMR responded to a location from a person who was detoxing from heroin. A gun was seen on scene. It was visually viewed and on scene, and a rifle. They contacted PD. PD arrived. There was an additional handgun. The rifle did not have a serial number, and there were multiple high-capacity magazines. We also saw what appeared to be a grenade inside the location. The Capital Region Bomb Squad responded, and we are a participant in that. We have personnel on that bomb team. Fortunately, the grenade was inert. The individual was charged with criminal possession of a firearm with no serial number, illegal possession of large capacity magazine, and an assault weapon, and he was held on a $350,000 bond. So good work there. In June, on a motor vehicle complaint, a stop sign violation, we were able to conduct a canine search for an individual who had an arrest warrant for domestic violence out of East Hartford. That person was subsequently charged because we found narcotics inside the vehicle with one count of a stop sign violation, one count of interfering with an officer. This person ran from us. One count of illegal possession of a controlled substance, and one count of operating a drug factory. And this individual was previously arrested in 2021 for similar crimes. Again, just a couple of highlights of the really good work that's been done by the men and women of the West Hartford PD as well as West Hartford FD. And I thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you, Chief Riddick. Any questions or comments for Chief Riddick this morning from Counselor McGinnis, Cortez, or Mayor Cantor?
I
No,
just,
for me
I
at this
just
time.
want to say, tremendous work. College Academy is really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to hearing feedback from them on how it's changed their lives and what, how it impacts our hiring and all of that cycle. It's really, again, very innovative and forward thinking. Thank you.
I thought I heard Counselor Cortez. Did I hear you?
No questions for me at this time. Thank you.
All right, and Counselor McGinnis?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right, Chief Riddick, you get away today. No questions, but all I'd like to say, just comments, just continue to do the fabulous work that you and your team continue to do, both you and Chief Priest. You just continue to knock it out the park with your forward thinking and your excellent staff and crew. But again, you set the tone, both you and your leadership team. And I just really have nothing but, applaud and praises for you all. And whenever I go somewhere, I just feel like I'm the ambassador and I just get nothing but positive feedback and just accolades about, how great our town is. And a lot of it is really due to public safety. Yes, we got wonderful other departments, but the bottom line is people want to feel safe when they go out or walk or just having a good time or visiting or just browsing, walking the trail. So, between the bears and the crime and other things that when we go to rescue, you guys are our top people. So I just want to say thank you for all the work that you all continue to do. That's just awesome. What great role models all of you are. I'm proud to be part of this team. So thank you. All right, we'll move forward to future agenda items. Do we have anything either from the committee members, town manager? I don't think so. All right. So if we don't have anything, we can adjourn. May I have a motion to adjourn? It's 8:36 and give you guys some time back.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All right. So we stand adjourned. Continue to enjoy your summer. Stay safe and watch each other's back out there. Thank you. See you in August.
Thanks, everyone.